This lesson is 4-8. Understand the dependent and independent variable. The standard is 6 EEC 9. There are three objectives associated with this lesson. You want to use variables to represent two quantities in the real world problems that change in the relationship to one another. You want to write equations to express one quantity through the dependent variable in terms of other quantities through the independent variable. And you want to analyze the relationship between dependent and independent variable. So some really important words that you want to make sure you understand here is the difference between dependent and independent variables. So obviously the dependent variable depends on something else for it to go or for it to move to the next level. Whereas independent variable can kind of stand alone. It's independent. Independent. Like, I'm independent. You can do anything by yourself, whether I'm independent. I can teach without a curriculum. I'm independent of resources. You can do it on your own. So think about it from that standpoint. You're not dependent, or you don't need anything else to stand on. So that's kind of how you can look at it. So the dependent variable change in response to another variable, whereas the independent variable affects change on a dependent variable. So you can think of that. Suppose again that you are going to buy 12 pieces of fruit and you will only buy apples and pears. So you can assign a variable to each of the related quantities. So the related but unknown quantities is going to be the apples and the pears. You have to buy a combination of both of the apples and the pears, and it must be equivalent to 12 pieces. So there are several different combinations you can have. So we have apples and pears over here on the left side. So if we buy one apple, that means we can only buy one pear, because 11 pears, because 1 plus 11 is 12 pieces of fruit total. Another type of combination we can have, if we buy 2 apples, that means we can buy 10 pears, because 2 plus 10 is equivalent to 12 pieces of fruit. Now we're only buying apples and pears, so we only have 2 different combinations we can have. So a change in the apples is going to affect the change in the pears. So if one increase, the other one will have to decrease, and the number of fruit must not exceed 12. So if we have 3 apples, we're going to have a total of 9 pears, because 3 plus 9 equals 12 total fruit. So here, if we change that number of apples to 4, that means we can only buy 8 pieces of pears, 8 pears. So if we buy 5 apples, then we can only buy 7 pears. If we buy 6 apples, we can buy 6 pears. 7 apples, 5 pears. So basically all of these combinations add up to 12. So these are the different combinations that we can have for this relationship. So we wrote that out in words. You can write the equation to represent the relationship. So we will write that out in words. So we will say the number of apples plus the number of pears must be equivalent to, or is, 12, which is our equal sign. So that is here. So the number of apples and pears must equal 12. So we can literally change that into an equation. And it says that we need to use the variable a for the number of apples and the variable p for the number of pears. So instead of writing apples and pears, we will write a and p, and then we will put our equal sign, and then we will put 12. So this is a way you can find a relationship between the related and unknown, and then you can come up with equations. All right, so now we are off to the right. We want to identify the independent variable and the dependent variable. So number 1, the amount of money M earned if T raffle tickets are sold. So we have to think, if you If you sell a lot of tickets, you're going to earn more money. If you sell no tickets, you're going to earn no money. So the money that you earned is dependent upon the raffle tickets sold. So we can say that the money is dependent because it depends on the number of raffle tickets. And the number of raffle tickets is going to be independent. It can stand alone. It's going to be there whether you sell them or not. All right, so number 2, the number of hours H worked and the amount of money M earned. If you do not work, you will not get any money. That is period. If you don't work, you will not get any money. So the amount of money is dependent upon the number of hours that you work. If you work by the hour, in this case. So the money is dependent upon the hour. So we can say the money is the dependent variable and the hour is the independent variable, right? So the amount of money M depends on the number of hours, that's supposed to say, of hours H worked. M is the dependent variable and H is the independent variable. All right, number 3, the number of shelves S in the bookcase and the number of books B the bookcase can hold. So this one, if you have more shelves, that means you can house more books. If you have a lower number of shelves, then you're going to have a lower number of books. So the number of books is dependent upon the number of shelves that you have. So we can say books is the dependent variable and the shelves is the independent variable. All right, so everything here in blue is what you would transfer over into your notes if you had the opportunity to print this. If not, when we get back to school, this is already in your mailbox and you can just transfer it then, or you can just copy everything down. It's up to you. A fruit basket business takes 103 orders in 1 month. Orders can be placed online or over the phone. Identify the related but unknown quantities. So we have to ask ourselves what quantities or what 2 things are related in this case but unknown. So the given information that we have here is that the business takes orders. And those orders can be produced either online or over.
Always.
The phone. So the orders is the related but unknown quantity. So orders are placed either online or over the phone because the change in one is going to affect the change in the other. Together, the business orders must add up to only 103. So if you have 103 online orders, that means your phone orders is 0, maybe. Or if you have 100 online orders, your phone orders must be 3 because 103 or because 100 plus 3 is 103. So those are the related but unknown because we don't know the value of the online orders nor the phone orders. We just know together the value must be equivalent to 103. So we have our online orders plus our phone orders, and together it must be equivalent to 103 total orders. So if we use a variable O for online orders plus the phone orders, they should add up together to 103. So we can manipulate this formula or this equation by solving for the variable. So if we have the number of online orders, well, let's just solve first. So another way to write this, I'm going to write all 3 equations here, but I'm going to solve for the variable down here. So if I have the value of online orders, or if I want the value of online orders, that means I need to get O on one side of the equal sign by itself. So I need to solve for the variable by moving p to the other side. And then I'm going to be left with O is equivalent to, and since these are not like terms here, then I cannot combine them because I have a constant in a variable. So I will write 103 minus p. So we can see if we solve for the variable and maintain equivalency, we have our equation. O is equivalent to 103 minus p. So if we want the number of online orders, we can start with 103 and then subtract the phone orders, and the rest is going to be the online orders. So it's basically the part to whole relationship that we've kind of been talking about already. Another way you can have the phone orders is equivalent to 103 minus the online orders, because the change in one is going to affect change on the other. So if one of these change, the other one is going to change as well, but together they must add up to 103 and 103 only.
So this is the assessment. These are the assessment questions that's on Google Forms. You can access this on Google Classroom, or you can use the link that is on your agenda sheet for the day. This is worth points. All of the point values is on the agenda sheet for the day.